biosphere and influence pressure patterns across the USA and potentially interact. All right, hey guys, I know there's no one on. I don't even know if there's gonna be anybody on. I had to go live, partly because we're so far behind, and also because there's so much going on. And I've told you guys I was going to keep you guys up on what was going on, and I don't want to let them play with that. That's rusty. Excuse me. I don't want to go back on that so you guys don't know what's going on. So I'm in the process of making sourdough breads. I'm in the kitchen. Yes, obviously. Aaron fixed the stuff hanging down. I'm gonna do this a little differently. The thing you're hearing in there is actually one for today. I'm actually gonna start you guys out with this video. Economic stories. And then we're gonna go back and cover what we've missed. So I'm going to pause this out here. It's about making sure your family and the people that you care about are covered in the future. For many Americans, our group members included. Medicare planning is one of the largest and most stressful parts of that process. Chapter compares plans nationwide. They have simplified the system so that you and your family can make informed decisions without confusion. Okay.
It's supposed to be sunny a little bit.
Like,
Yeah, obviously. I wouldn't be surprised if the thunderstorm gets off if this humidity.
I mean, it looks like it's gonna storm.
Yeah.
All right. So this one, obviously full spectrum.
While we are watching,
breaking CME hits Earth. I don't know what that is. CME. I wasn't really listening when I first turned it on. So, earthquake swarms begin. Expect disruption. Locate emergency resources. So, I haven't even written this one down yet.
weather patterns effectively lock themselves into place across North America
and I'm working
Europe,
on making
the United States of America. Meteorologists are tracking what is known as the Omega
for our eggs.
This is an atmospheric pattern that effectively stalls the normal west to east movement of weather systems.
Gosh, what the heck?
Instead of allowing cooler air or storm systems to cycle through naturally, what happens is the atmosphere becomes locked into place.
Hopefully we don't end up with any extra protein in there.
Beneath persistent high pressure. And with that, temperatures continue to climb almost every day, one after the other, with very little relief. Now that's exactly what is happening across much of Europe and what we have been experiencing here in portions of the United States of America, where we continue to face similar extreme heat concerns. July 4th weekend, they say, will be a killer. We've already seen hospitals beginning to treat increasing numbers of death-related illnesses. Transportation systems are experiencing stress that a lot of people never thought about. Well, that was until the rails started working. Road services started failing. Electric grids began facing enormous demand as millions of air conditioners in their units started to run.
I have one of my older tank tops on. Yes, I'm wearing my short shorts.
Started watching the soil moisture all but disappear at much faster paces than they're normally used to. Now, these prolonged heat effects, they affect nearly every critical system that modern society depends upon. Crops don't care about political talking points or climate change. Livestock doesn't get to ignore record temperatures, and water reservoirs we will not see fill up without rain, just because demand increased. Those are practical realities that have real life consequences that are beginning to extend well beyond a few miserable afternoons outside. Now, what makes this situation even more dangerous is not just the temperature itself, but the persistence of that. When atmospheric blocking patterns start to increase or they refuse to move, well, communities lose the overnight cooling that normally allows infrastructure and power systems, or even just the human body to recover before the next day's heat starts to begin all over again. And then we see accumulated stress. I don't know if you've ever witnessed the professor who talks about stress on a body, that if you're holding something up, say something that weighs less than a pound, well, you can hold it out in an extended hand and it's nothing. This is less than a pound. It doesn't weigh anything. But try to hold it for 6 hours. And it's that accumulated stress that starts to affect you. Your muscles will burn, and then they will cramp, and then they'll fail. This stress becomes far more significant than just one single day's record highs, especially when multiple countries begin experiencing it at simultaneous times. And then emergency services start to begin pressure points, and those extended periods affect you. If you haven't already updated your climate control preparedness plan for extreme heat and power loss, today is probably your best day to do it. Whether it's a simple fan or a gas-powered generator or a small window unit, if you can identify a location of a body of water that can be used to cool off during the hottest part of the day, find it now. Put it on a map.
That's the reason why I thought about
getting back to the Middle East as extreme weather dominates some headlines. We do have some military developments that are taking place. They're continuing to evolve at a pace that deserves our attention. Right now, we have confirmed CENTCOM strike packages delivered, and then you see the cancellation, the resumption, the pausing of all these negotiations.
Not sure how long this video
right back on the edge of full-scale conflict. Market insiders just placed $1.6 billion in sell orders. These orders will hit the market this week. 0 buy orders at the same time, or at least a negligible amount, were placed. And it's starting to look like everybody is preparing for a massive market dump this week. So we're seeing the pressures starting to stack up. The Federal Reserve is turning hawkish. The markets are now pricing in a 70% rate hike on this September. And then we see China and Japan and South Korea. They're all trimming their treasuries. This led a $138 billion foreign sell-off in March, when the biggest creditors are stepping back and they're starting to say what is happening. We see the markets are not waiting for the confirmation of the Federal Reserve, and they're quietly cutting risk all over the world, building their cash reserves and their gold. The danger, real danger, is when the optics, that's everything that you and I get to see, the optics of diplomacy are starting to break. Markets are no longer relying on optimism, and they're starting to price in the fact that we are in a never-ending conflict or crisis.
Stupid bugs! Oh
the
my
geopolitical
gosh!
stress on an already
They won't
stretched
leave the
financial
bread,
system that won't unwind slowly is adding up. It's starting to unwind all at once, and the markets rip apart. Then you see liquidity thin, and then risk assets start to dump all at the same time. Now, we're also watching at this moment in time a solar shockwave throughout the Earth. There are signs that additional activity is going to follow quickly behind it, and earthquake activity across the globe has already surged and is getting to levels that we have to start asking ourselves very uncomfortable questions. Almost unbelievably,
I had to put some more flour in
one of
my
the very
container.
institutions that spent years dismissing solar influence on Earth's climate suddenly started publishing language that sounds astonishingly close to you and me,
the organic,
or independent researchers have been arguing for years. And we have to ask ourselves, why now?
Didn't have a lot of money.
Why, after all this time, are we suddenly seeing an admission from universities and governments that would have been ridiculed just a couple of years ago? Now, maybe nothing changed except the reality of what we are facing became impossible to ignore. So let's start with the sun, because that's really where all of this begins. The last 96 hours, well, they look relatively quiet if you look at this from a long-term viewpoint. And if all you were doing was counting major solar flares, and that's what the headlines judge, whether the sun is active or not, the problem is that solar activity does not always announce itself with some sort of massive explosion that starts to dominate the news cycle for 24 or 48 hours. Sometimes the more subtle events are the ones that deserve our most attention, especially when they start to involve expanding magnetic structures that are growing above active regions. And that's what we've been watching recently. These aren't necessarily the giant X-class flares that everyone recognizes and a couple of people talk about. They still represent enormous releases of energy into the solar atmosphere. And within the last few days, one of those expanding regions produced what researchers often call a stealth coronal mass ejection. Or in layman's terms, the upper magnetic field broke loose without producing the kind of dramatic flare that people usually account to or expect to see.
Exactly.
Now, these stealth events can still be deceptive because they don't always look impressive when you look at them at first glance.
But some yogurt.
Yet they still launch dense clouds of solar plasma.
These are the ones that we really like.
Into space, and it starts to affect us here on Earth. Right now, this event that's affecting our planet starting today, based on our current projections, and it should arrive, you should already be seeing some effects. Because it isn't moving at especially high velocity, forecasters are expecting only relatively minor geomagnetic storming conditions. And that sounds reassuring, but those are important details that I refuse to ignore. Our solar giant does not operate according to humans' schedules. And if additional eruptions occur before or after the last cloud, the first cloud reaches Earth,
so I put butter in the pan.
Or earlier eruptions could travel at much higher speeds, much faster. They start stacking up one on top of each other. And space weather forecasters have seen situations like this before, where multiple solar eruptions begin to interact, amplifying conditions and producing strong effects, even stronger than they initially expected. And that's why people who watch solar activity for a living aren't just checking a single forecast or a single flare and then walking away. We are watching continuously because conditions can change in a matter of hours. Now, we might just see another interesting week of solar weather, but here's the thing with all of this, and where things start to get uncomfortable. With a larger focus of humanity on political headlines and economic stories, the earth beneath our feet has been getting increasingly restless. Over the past 30 days, we have recorded roughly 20 to 25 significant seismic events.
Ripped it.
And that's after you take away the two unknowns that were the sonic booms over the USA removed from the count. 20 major earthquakes, or 25 in just 30 days would already be something to pique our ears. But what really stands out to me is how concentrated they have become recently. 7 of those significant events occurred within a just 5 to 7 day window, and 3 of them ranked among the 4 largest during the entire period. That's a surge.
No, I just gotta let it cook.
That works out roughly to 3 times the recent baseline. In an earthquake science, that is an enormous change. The numbers that we look at can sometimes sound deceptively small, like a 4.0 somewhere. And when someone says a 3 to maybe 3.2 times higher, you can start to imagine that these systems suddenly start to operate at more than triple the normal level, and the baseline gets skewed. Nobody would shrug that off if it happened, and this is where independent researchers believe an even larger story is unfolding. There's a belief right now that Earth's magnetic field has been gradually weakening, and this is reducing part of the planet's natural shielding against incoming solar activity. When that shield changes, then even relatively ordinary sun events start to produce stronger atmospheric responses than they would have just maybe 8 to 10 years ago.
Woo!
You add into that growing
I'm gonna
evidence
save
that
some of these to plant.
geomagnet activity starts to affect our upper atmosphere
Really?
and influence pressured patterns across the USA and potentially interact with weather systems. And now we have a framework that looks very different from the simplified explanations that a lot of people are used to hearing or that they're accustomed to hearing. And one thing that stands out to me, one point that shows this elevated risk during this solar cycle 25 of the Earth, is that we could experience another Carrington event. And that was the most intense geomagnetic storm in recent recorded history, peaking in September year 1859. It was caused by a massive solar flare and coronal mass ejection. And at that time, the storm overwhelmed 19th century telegraph systems. If it happens today, it will severely disrupt power grids, knock out our satellites, and take out communications across the world. Folks, while I gather today's survival tip on preparing for these types of things, we're going to take a quick moment and hear from Chapter. This episode of Full Spectrum Survival is brought to us by you, the viewer, and by Chapter.
Well, I had to throw one of the potatoes away.
The families make is waiting too long.
Well, not throw it away. You know what I meant.
Preparedness is not just about what is happening in the world right now. It's also about making sure that your family and the people that you care about are covered in the future. For many Americans, our group members included, Medicare planning is one of the largest and most stressful parts of that process. Chapter compares plans nationwide. They help simplify the system so that you and your family can make informed decisions without confusion. If you're already on the best plan, they're going to tell you. There's no pressure. It's completely free. Most calls take under 20 minutes, and you can call them at 610-900-4081
Oh my goodness, you guys.
Or use the link below.
I know there's nobody on, but
I'm
going to pause this for a minute. What about my credit builder card? Yes, I know. I need a job so I can hook my Chime card up to it again. Gotta show you guys something. Yesterday, as I'm coming back in the house from doing stuff between outside to the porch, I look up and I see this nasty thing. It was huge. And yes, I zoomed in on the photo, but that's literally how big that spider was. It was huge. It was literally like that. It was huge. Really gross. I made Aaron kill it. I was just like, nope.
Extreme event. If your window
that was just a no.
What you'll want to do is carefully remove the glass, the loose glass, and you're going to want to do so while wearing gloves and eye protection. And then cover the opening with an appropriately sized amount of plywood or other scrap wood that you can get fastened to the actual wall framing, not just the window trim. You'll want to use suitable screws or lag bolts. Now, if you need to make a temporary roof repair, a damaged roof can allow thousands of dollars worth of additional water damage into the house if you don't cover it quickly. So part of your preparedness plan needs to be not just the wood to go over your windows to harden your shelter, but also
it was pretty nasty
to be able to cover the roof. You'll want to keep these tarps, rope, ratchet straps, lumber strips, exterior screws, hammers, utility knives, and basic equipment all stored together in the same spot. Because you're going to have moments to act once the storm clears or the event is over to get out there and actually make change.
Need any more flour?
Remember the rule, please.
Please get down. I have to do my eggshells.
You have 3 minutes without air before your brain doesn't brain much anymore.
Doesn't brain much anymore.
hours.
You have
in
3 minutes
inclement
with
weather,
air
so every
before your
3
brain
hours,
doesn't
systems
brain
change.
much anymore.
3 days without water and 3 weeks without food. So, folks, as we are
Technically, you can go 30
I'm gonna keep
days
up to
without
date with
food.
everything that is happening, so I can deliver it to you. Please make sure that you are.
As long as you have
subscribed,
water, you can
like,
go up to
share,
30
comment,
days without
hit
eating before you actually
post
starve
it
to death.
x.com. Let other people know what is going on, and check back at 2
Now I need more whole wheat
My
flour.
family to yours. Please stay safe and keep watch.
I will take care of that. I'm not gonna wash it.
To me, it's ultimately stewardship. Yes, I love being healthy.
Okay. Now this is where I got to get my notebook. And then I'll just put an X next to it. Did I already delete it? Breaking. Hang on, guys. I gotta write something down real quick. Corruption. Hang on, guys. I'm not trying to leave you hanging. This starts the whole thing. And I've got 23. Okay, so what are you guys doing out here? Okay. So we're gonna go back to, I'm gonna hit subscriptions here. And we're gonna go full spectrum. And this one.
While we are watching Dangerous.
This is going back a ways. What the heck?
I think a lot of people are missing just how unusual this exact point in history really is. Everywhere that you look. Good afternoon, everyone.
I cannot find this.
Nobody wants to believe right now. European spot.
Okay, hold on. Sorry, guys. I'm like in Chicago. I did. Really? There's that one.
I think a lot of people are missing just how unusual this exact.
We lost nearly everything. Oh gosh, I thought I included that one. Guess I didn't. Multiple threats. Okay, this is the first one. Russia is under attack.
This
Citizens
is some
told to
breaking
take
news.
cover.
We just saw a
Entire area blacked out in smoke.
This is some breaking news. We just saw a cataclysmic explosion take
This was
place
11
over
days
Moscow,
ago, so it's
deep
been a
inside
minute
of
since we've done a
Russia.
live.
The people inside of the country say that it's time to use nuclear weapons. For much of this war, the average Russian citizen, they can watch the conflict from a distance. This is exactly how it's going to happen here inside of the United States of America. The fighting was over there in Ukraine. The destruction, it was happening somewhere that felt like hours or days away from the population of the affected country. The air raid sirens, the burning infrastructure, the uncertainty of daily life, each one of those things belonged to someone else. But with the attacks that just happened in the past 36 hours, that sense of separation is catastrophically disappearing. The latest developments suggest that this conflict may now be entering into a far more dangerous phase than many people want to even imagine. Reports have now started coming out. They're emerging from Russia, describing what we have seen as one of the largest Ukrainian drone attacks against deep Russian Moscow territory and the surrounding region since the entire temporary military operation began. Citizens sent ducking for cover. People fleeing their homes as explosions rocked critical infrastructure sites with thick smoke spreading across parts of the capital, and residents finding themselves witnessing firsthand the scenes that many of them never expected to see. The images that are coming out of the city show large industrial fires, black smoke stretching across the skyline, and emergency crews that are scrambling to contain damage at facilities that were considered important to the functioning capability of the Russian capital. These things are happening right now to us in real time. One of the most significant targets appears to have been a massive Russian oil refinery, a fuel facility that plays an important role in supplying gasoline and diesel to Moscow, and not just there, but also to the surrounding area. When a refinery of this size is taken out, the impact that you see is far beyond the immediate damage. What they're also starting to see is what will happen inside of America. It is the lifeline of a modern city. And it's that type of preparation that you and your family must begin to prepare for. Look here as this citizen just watches idly as the entire city begins to burn. Oil powers transportation. It supports industry. And what it does is keep the daily life of the citizens inside of that country functioning. Now, the videos that are circulating online show one of the most dramatic scenes in this war that I have ever witnessed. Multiple explosions illuminating the night sky, towering columns of smoke rising over industrial areas. Witnesses that are there describe hearing blasts that are powerful enough to shake nearby buildings, and the footage is starting to look a lot less like an isolated military operation and a lot more of the scenes that you would typically associate with a major maritime or wartime bombardment. Now, what makes the past 48 hours even more significant is that this turn of events revealed that the state of Russia's defenses are less capable than they thought. For years, just as the United States prepares for drone attacks here on our homeland soil, Moscow invested heavily in air defense systems. They've promoted them as some of the most capable in the world. And yet, despite those defenses, drones are seen to have penetrated multiple layers of protection and successfully struck targets near the Russian capital and deep inside of its territory. Russian authorities have stated that large numbers of drones were intercepted, but it only takes a couple to change everyday life as you and your family know it. What we're seeing right now is the face of modern warfare changing at a remarkable pace. Relatively
some,
inexpensive drones are
apple
increasingly
cider
capable
vinegar
of reaching
brewing.
strategic targets that aren't just miles away, but hundreds of miles away. They are constantly launched in large numbers, and this forces defenders to spend enormous resources in an attempt just to stop the threat, something that costs only a fraction of the price to deploy. Now, people on the ground are beginning to lose their minds. The psychological impact is ultimately proving even more apocalyptic.
I mean, this is
than the
actually
physical damage
really.
itself. Military analysts
I've
are
never
seeking
had it
answers to
do
the
this
destroyed
good.
equipment, to what happened with the destroyed infrastructure, and of
I
course,
mean, there's
they're
really
looking at
nothing to
things like
scoop off
the
the top.
casualty figures. But what is happening to the population is a major role that will shape the conflict from
This
here
stuff
on
is
out.
awesome.
And that's what's going to happen in America.
Today's the 30th.
Residents will witness
When are we done?
explosions, emergency responses.
Okay.
They'll see that the war that used to feel like it was
I
happening
haven't
to
even been
someone
checking
else
this every day.
somewhere else far away will suddenly feel
You're actually
closer.
supposed to check it every day.
People will start to see evidence of destruction and violence outside of their own.
I even wrote it on the
corridors,
calendar
instead of
and I
viewing
still
it from
forgot.
the luxury of their phone or even from their home television set. And it's that shift in perception that will immediately increase the pressure on American and, like, Russian leadership to respond aggressively. It will strengthen all the hardline voices that say stronger measures must be taken to make future escalation.
Yeah, well, this almost seems like there's a little bit on top to take off.
It's the attention
Maybe?
just saw.
No, it's more just
They're
the
taking place
phone.
at the same
Like,
time that attention is once again being focused on some of Russia's most
and that's
advanced strategic
just the
U.S. capable weapons. Now, one of these programs involves
yeah,
the
this
Egyptian
is
Skyfall
beautiful.
missile.
This is turning
According
out
to recent
amazing.
reports, American military researchers
The apple cider vinegar that I'm doing.
studying the system to gain a
And I
clearer
know what I did
understanding
differently. I
of
added a
how
little bit of
and
sugar
how it could
to
one
it
day hit America's
to feed the ferment.
or at least the shores of one of our allies.
And it's turning out this
The
time.
Skyfall missile system is worth watching because it is believed to utilize a nuclear.
It was
powered
raw cane sugar,
propulsion
guys,
system.
so it's okay.
Now, unlike traditional
That
cruise
was
missiles, they're limited by the fuel that they can carry. A nuclear powered
Really
design
happy with that.
can remain airborne for vastly longer periods of time, and they can travel extraordinarily
What
far.
are you guys doing?
For Russia, in a return to Soviet times,
Get out of there!
this is a
right
revolutionary strategic capability. But for everyone else, it's a dangerous escalation in an ongoing arms race that introduces entirely new risks into an already unstable global environment. Now, whether every claim that surrounds the Skyfall missile proves accurate
I
or not,
swear,
it's almost beyond the
like
point.
having a bunch of toddlers.
What matters is that nations are continuing to invest heavily inside of technology that is designed to overcome
Beautiful.
existing known defensive
Look at this.
measures, altering the balance of power.
Flatbread, guys.
And as we see one side demonstrate the growing effectiveness of drone warfare,
Absolutely
the
beautiful.
other pursues advanced strategic systems capable of hitting around the world that are intended to maintain deterrence against potential adversaries. Now, both of these developments guarantee a violent future, one where military technology becomes increasingly sophisticated, difficult to defend against, and potentially even more destructive than you could ever imagine. Around the world right now, geopolitical tensions remain at World War levels. Relations between Russia and NATO are strained. The Middle East continues to experience instability.
Mandy, I'm really happy. I know you're not on right now, but I'm really happy that you've got
and asserting
the
itself even
possibility
more
of
aggressively
gardening
on
in the
the global
future.
stage. In many ways, the international environment that we are looking at,
try to get more gardening
well, it
videos
already
out
resembles
there.
one of the most tense periods since the Cold War. And against that backdrop, the images that are coming out of Moscow serve as a reminder that major conflicts like this are not becoming more contained.
One's not working as well
They're
as the other
becoming more
one.
interconnected, and they're becoming more unpredictable. And as the broader trend becomes difficult to ignore, war and World War III is increasingly defined by technologies
Yeah, and I
that blur
think there's a
traditional
lot
boundaries.
more coming
Drones
as
are able
far
to
as
strike
the
deep
war
behind the
goes
front
that
lines.
that's gonna
Cyber
be
attacks are able to disrupt
more than we've
infrastructure
ever
without firing
dreamed
a single
of
shot.
seeing ever.
AI systems are already
I'm not gonna
influencing
get into
targeting
that,
decisions.
but
Hypersonic weapons are developed by major powers, and
let's put it
strategic
like
missile
this.
programs are advancing in devastation,
Yes.
and that's what makes this moment especially unsettling. These technologies and their
You cannot, we already know you can't trust the government, okay? But things that they're capable of doing, none of us have a clue. You can't put anything past them, and anything that we think could be totally so far-fetched and fictional. But I'm going to tell you right now, if Hollywood has made a show or movies about it, be guaranteed that they are working on making that happen. Especially if it has anything to do with the destruction of our world and the humanity in general. They're working on it. That's all I'm going to say about it right now, but
advancements
be rest
are
assured they are.
unfolding while active wars are already underway. Nations aren't developing them during peace or strength through stability. They're doing it inside of environments that are shaped by war, by government distrust, and increasing competition between nuclear powers. And it's without a doubt that the oil-filled rain, the darkened skies that are hanging full of smoke over Moscow right now, they will eventually disappear. The damaged facilities, they're likely going to be repaired. But what happened from this week's attacks will not fade. You need to let what we just saw inside of Russia act as a reminder to you and your family. Capitals and states that you consider safe right now are becoming more vulnerable by the minute. Critical infrastructure is becoming increasingly exposed, and nations are at this moment in time preparing to.
I know he's not planning on doing anything until he has to be at his
conflicts, which will prove themselves to be far more devastating, even more so than any of these images, anything that we have seen so far. What we're looking right now is at the beginning stages.
All right, I'm gonna pull out like 4 of these.
Folks, you're watching Full Spectrum Survival on YouTube, and we brought this breaking news to you so that you and your family have an idea of what's going on.
Oh,
I thought you wanted those.
Share this video.
I will
Type
slap
this video in
you.
the high points below.
Can you not
My
tell
favorite
they're
viewers,
good?
Stay safe.
Now I can. I was looking at now that I'm looking at them.
Back off my potato.
This morning, a life-threatening dome of heat is.
Okay, so that was.
This is some breaking news. We just saw a cataclysmic explosion take place over Moscow, deep inside of Russia. And the people inside of the country say that it's time to.
All right, so we're gonna put a big check mark next to that one. Next one. Do believe it's this one.
The nation of Finland just lifted their ban on nuclear weapons. This is huge news because Russia is preparing to take on NATO countries, according to all the leadership regions inside of that area. All the governments believe that we have just a few years left before Russia makes another move, becoming the Soviet Union that was once again. In turn, the Finnish parliament, they approved a bill that lifts the country's ban on nuclear weapons. This allows the importation, transportation, supply, and possession of nuclear weapons within Finnish territory. The government has emphasized that it has no plans to permanently host or station nuclear weapons inside of the country, but NATO has stated that they also have plans to deploy nuclear assets nearby. Israel's views on the now revealed memorandum between Iran, Israel, and the USA are being seen as a strategic defeat. Canadian Prepper just put out a video recently that I think our community probably aligns with very well. This is not an end to World War III. The United States of America made an attempt We attempted to turn Iran into another Venezuela. A couple of nights of bombing, a few regime-changing altercations, and just like that, we would have access to all of the oil inside of Iran and the Strait of Hormuz. Things did not go as planned. We used up years' worth of defensive military equipment, years' worth of missiles, and now we're scrambling to build them back.
And they did that on purpose.
Was time. We are facing a fertilizer crisis, a food supply chain issue, and we're also looking at the economic Great Depression. Now, from Israel's viewpoint, the memorandum is a strategic defeat. Now, here is what Israel's actually afraid of. And this fear is very real. Clause 10 of the memorandum issues oil waivers the moment that the MOU was signed. That's before Iran makes any concrete changes. Israel has watched the Iranian economic approach collapse during this entire conflict, and now it gets crude sales, access to international banking markets, and eventually the frozen assets that were set under Clause 12. We're already looking at
Actually,
the
really does
building
look like it's going
of
to
a
rain out
near
here.
nuclear power in real time. Now, Clause 8 of the MOU lets Iran dilute,
You
not get
guys,
rid of, its enriched uranium stockpile. They will be allowed under this memorandum to do this on their own soil under supposed
okay. What is the point with all of this? Why are we doing these videos? Okay. First of all, I want to make sure everybody, like all you guys knows what's going on, okay? These are the channels that keeps up on what's going on out there, and I'm passing it along to you guys. Yeah. I also want you guys to understand why it's imperative to get your homesteads going, get your gardens, even container gardening. I mean, you can plant a garden now, okay? Even in July. I will share one of James Prigione's videos where he talks about things that you can plant in July. It's just really important to start going the way of being able to grow and raise your own food, because everything they're talking about is leading up to one thing: not being able to get what you need at the grocery store, not being able to, and even still, what's in the grocery stores is completely unhealthy. Like, it is becoming a very rare thing to find healthy food in the grocery stores. You have to read your labels. You have to read your labels, okay? It's so important, especially if you really want to go the way of getting healthy. You have to stay on top of that. And again, the stuff in the grocery stores, no. You can't trust it. You just can't, unless you absolutely have checked out that particular brand and know that they're legit. Takes that research. So that's the reason behind the lives and keeping you guys up on what's going on. I want you guys to understand how important it is to get out there, get your homesteads going, get a couple chickens, 2 or 3 of them. get a couple chickens. So you have a few eggs coming in. That's healthier than store-bought eggs. Store-bought eggs are treated with chemicals to make them appear healthy. You don't need that. You obviously don't get that with your farm fresh eggs. Because you know what you're feeding your chickens. And when you grow your own food, you know what's in your food.
What has happened in the last 30 years, you know that's never going to happen. And so what I believe might be happening right now is the United States of America is taking a step back. Not a retreat, but a step back to lay out that sucker punch. I believe that the USA is going to quickly, as we just saw with the defense agreements that have been executively ordered by the President of the United States of America, we're going to rebuild our missile stockpiles overnight. And we're going to hit Iran where it hurts the most, whether one side or the other actually follows through with this MOU.
The thing of it is, what he's saying is probably Israel, right.
They just assess that Iran will refuse to surrender
his
any of their enriched uranium.
But
and that
I believe we're heading into way more.
Trump is declining to rule out so-called low-level enrichment, and this tells the entire world what the baseline actually is. And now we're starting to see the theater of warfare, economic conflict, and a global Great Depression all mixed together. Now, Clause 1 of the MOU ties a permanent end to fighting in Lebanon. This is something that Israel has fought to keep. Israel will fight and continue fighting what they see as their enemies of Hezbollah inside of that region. And Iran has sort of tried to separate the United States of America and Israel. And if you know anything about American history, it's who actually buys and pays for our politicians. Now, Israel reads the text as requiring no pullback before the final agreement, and that's a buying of time. We can't call it anything else. The Americans want an acceleration of the peace agreement. But as one Israeli senior told different media outlets,
we're heading into that peace agreement, quote unquote,
global power,
which is going to turn out to be that peace treaty,
regional power to the world,
and it's going to usher in the Antichrist.
In such a situation, he warned, it will be very hard for the Prime Minister Netanyahu to oppose a withdrawal from Lebanon, and pressure to fight a terrorist group inside of the region will grow. Israel feels that the last couple of days, Trump has turned against them. Right now, they are worried that that change is going to be permanent, but sources that we are reading are not claiming that Trump is being unfair necessarily. They're saying that there's a trap that is being set up. Israelis read the rebuke as deliberate humiliation of the country of Israel. And we did just see a senior official close to Netanyahu tell Channel 12 that Jerusalem was stunned by the recent criticism from the U.S. president, and they called it a resounding slap in the face. Now, the people inside of that country do accept that they oversold the war. They believe that Trump now sees Netanyahu as a possession of American.
And yes, we do have the ability to cook off grid.
One critic quoted inside of Israeli media warned that Netanyahu is turning the country into a client state, one that takes orders from America for its own national security. Israelis are saying
working on a live video,
will not be able to come back from this, and they see Lebanon signaling as an abandonment issue in front of what they consider an existential threat. They see the country boxed in with few other options than to restart the war either under a permanent status or through proxy elements.
I keep telling everybody, I don't know who gave Oklahoma permission to
just saw a massive underwater volcano is expected to erupt sometime within the next couple of months. Axial seamount
disgusting.
Like just 1 mile beneath the surface of the Pacific Ocean. It's a several miles long volcanic event that will erupt the entire seafloor. In recent weeks, scientists have observed this volcano inflating its magma rises beneath it. They say that hundreds of earthquakes are taking place.
It's
this, according to them, is a
flat
signal. A signal that an eruption is imminent. And we could
I can
see
get that off.
a multi-feet, tens of feet high tsunami strike
Put that
the
back in the
American West Coast. Now, this is situated just 300 miles west of Oregon. It sits along the boundary between two tectonic plates
Change
that
burner.
scientists say are pulling apart slowly.
Cut.
Researchers emphasize that the exact timing of this eruption is near impossible to predict. They say it could be tomorrow,
And that is a yogurt.
to the University of Washington,
So how's the
or
weather
it could
there?
be months from now.
Hot.
Now, what makes this seamount volcano even more remarkable is the ecosystem in which it thrives. There's hypothermal
Real
vents
high
on the
humidity and
volcano
real hot,
that
like
release
99
mineral-rich hot water into the ocean, supporting communities of microbes.
Oh no,
Things
trust
like
me.
that,
I know.
the
I've
local
been
fish
through
that
the
feed on
Oklahoma
them.
weather.
But they say the next eruption will be one for the history books. We're also
But
seeing
I'm
stress
sweating my
along the
butt
San
off.
Andreas and the San Jacinto fault. Excuse me, this is in Southern California. They say this is reaching a critical tension point. A new study just outlined the implications of what we're going to see with this, and scientists are warning that the region is capable of a large through-going eruption. One that they warned will involve multiple fault systems. The Cajun Pass may act as a sort of earthquake gate, they
A lot
warned.
of things that are going on is
Now, this
leading
sometimes
right
blocks
up
large
to
ruptures from
biblical
crossing between the
prophecy
faults, but sometimes it allows pressure to
We're
build
on.
up. They did just run a computational simulation on this. And with this computational simulation, they say it's unlike anything the world could ever see. Now, in recent history, we have seen the American power grid stressed and coming under
Oh
increasing
goodness.
strain. Electrical demands across our country are rising faster than the ability to supply them. One major factor, of course, AI data centers. These consume massive amounts of power, massive amounts of water every single day. At the same time, we see the new call for electric vehicles, manufacturing, and other energy-intensive industries. This, they say, is pushing demand even higher. Some of the world's top AI companies just came together, and they said that AI systems are making bioweapons. In a rare display of unity, the leaders of OpenAI, Anthropic, and DeepMind, they got together with literally dozens of biotechnology and national security experts, and they just signed a letter to the U.S. government saying that there is a rapid escalation of AI-enabled bioweapons. These systems, they say, are gaining sophisticated capabilities,
So
and they're threatening to erode the knowledge barriers that used to exist that would prevent bad actors at low state levels from being able to
Aaron
engineer
has
these
to,
deadly pathogens.
this car has to be totaled
They
out.
say that a coalition must be made, and that government control systems,
coon.
strict vetting, and tracking rules must be put on all commercial,
He was on
private,
his way home
and government AI systems.
from work one night.
DNA synthesis.
About 2 weeks ago.
They're trying to use it in vaccines
and
right now.
he just got off
They're
the
saying
highway,
that
so
bad
he's still
actors
going a pretty good clip.
use it.
This cone runs out, and this
If
thing
you're
had to
watching
have
Full
been
Spectrum
huge.
Survival, where every day I scroll so that you and your family
He's a
don't have to,
Malibu, right?
please make sure that you are subscribed here and share this video out.
You creep? Oh, stop it.
He swerved, didn't he?
No, he didn't. He knows better. He hit the coon. How well? He said that thing had to have been huge. Okay, you got the main grill on your car, and then underneath there was like this little grill vent underneath the grill itself,
Yeah.
on a piece that kind of was like this underneath it.
Yeah.
When he hit the coon, it messed up that whole vent piece under the grill, messed up part of the grill. It cracked on both sides, like that under bumper part in the front, and bent the radiator frame, bent part of the radiator. Aaron thinks it messed up one of the hoses and possibly did some other damage because it's got about $4,500 worth of damage to it. Yeah.
Oh no.
And they said the car's only worth like about $4,000, so they have to total it out. He is not
Sure
happy.
is the insurance go pay for it?
Oh yeah, I mean, like I said, they have to total the car out. They're not willing to pay $4,500 to get it fixed.
Right?
So he has to go clean his car out today.
Wow.
Thank God I have a vehicle.
Yeah.
But
Well, you get another car out of it.
I don't know about that. I don't know. He's hoping that they will cut him a check that'll cover the whole amount of the loan that he's still paying on the car. I mean, he'll know more tomorrow because the woman that's like taking care of all the details isn't even going to be back into the office until tomorrow. He has a rental car, thankfully, and he'll have that at least until tomorrow. He originally was supposed to have that until the 7th, but he doesn't know if they're going to let him keep that until the 7th now.
Oh, no.
I don't know. 6 of one and half a dozen of the other, but yeah, Aaron's not real happy about it.
Oh, my goodness.
But, I mean, he's going to save up for another vehicle. I mean, if they don't, he's already planning ahead, so that's a good thing. But again, he's not real happy about it. And guess what? Mom gets to play chauffeur for the family again.
Oh, yeah.
It's fine. Whatever. Not like I'm not used to that.
Yeah.
Like I said, thank God I have a vehicle.
How's things other than that?
Not too bad. Chloe has 18 days before she gets married.
Yeah.
Yep. She's very excited. They'll be back. So they have 15 days before they'll be back in Michigan. They'll be back the 14th. They have to go like that day and get their marriage license. And they're going to pay the fee to have the 3-day wait period waived, which you can do. But they got to get their marriage license the day they get back.
Where are they going?
What do you mean? They're getting married in the church they were going to. It's on Eden Road. It's called the Eden. I think it's a Baptist church. I think. But his Zach's grandparents go to that church. And it's the church they were going to before they went to Pennsylvania. They've been living in Pennsylvania for the last few months with his mom and dad and his sister. Zach got a job offer out there, making $21 an hour to start.
Yeah.
Zach's dad got helped Chloe get into a job at an amusement park out there.
Oh, yeah.
And they're going to Cedar Point for their honeymoon.
Oh, my goodness.
Which I think is just funny because she's finally getting over her fear of heights. To a certain degree.
Yeah.
So she can't wait to like go on some of the rides and stuff. Zach wants to get her on the Magnum at Cedar Point.
Well, that'd be good.
Chloe keeps telling him, she's like, I'm not sure about that. He's like, oh, you're getting on Magnum. She draws the line at that though because she doesn't want to get on the Millennium. It's 100 feet higher than that other one.
Yeah. How's Scott doing?
He's doing pretty good. We got to get him into a neurologist because of his epilepsy. He was starting to have seizures again, so anyway, Christian I haven't heard from. I'm probably going to make Aaron probably call him because Chloe doesn't even want to try to call Christian. She said she called him over Thanksgiving weekend when Zach had proposed to her and they got engaged to tell him about it. He wasn't on the phone very long. She said they woke him up because he works third shift. And she said after they got off the phone, she broke down crying. And I told her that they're probably going to have to call him. And she's like, Mom, I can't. It's too hard. I can't do it. So I'm going to probably try to talk Aaron into today or tomorrow. Well, no, probably today, because today is his last day off for a few days. Calling his brother. I don't know who else to get him to, or get to basically call and kick him in the rear end. Being like, hey, are you really going to do this to your sister and ignore the whole family and not show up at her wedding and literally like hurt your sister in doing that? Like, I get he has some issues from growing up, but there's a part of him that needs to just grow up and stop and think about the fact that his sister's getting married and she does want him there. She wanted to put
Susie.
What?
In the Bible, it says in the Bible, it says that there are God takes out of your head.
Yeah, well, I ain't letting my son go, so.
Hey, Steve and Haley have nothing to do with me, right?
Well, again, I refuse to let go of Christian. I still text him and still praying for his salvation. For him to come back to Christ, actually. But I've even told God when I've been praying about it, I will not let go. And I've even prayed, like, don't let go of him. Do not let go of him. Bring him back in. And it's not
I'm sorry, I haven't even done that. I really haven't.
Like,
I haven't prayed in a long time for Haley.
yeah.
Thank God.
I'm gonna go check on the chickens.
Good morning.
Hi, Leanne.
Hey, baby. How you doing?
All right.
Sure miss you.
We miss you too. Where was she?
It's been a,
Right here by the door.
it's been a while since I've talked to y'all.
I know.
Just don't want to be any y'all sermons. I've been filled up with people sending me sermons on
Hang on,
Messenger.
guys.
I am so sick of it. Forgive me for that.
Okay.
Forgive me. It's not anything to do with you. But it's Facebook. Every time I say anything on Facebook about answer, Jesus Christ would scare me and blah 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 on something. And I'll take.
I know what you're talking about.
Somebody sent me a messenger in our sermon, and I don't know what to do about them. We don't.
I end up deleting the chat and blocking them.
Don't.
It's happened to me. I've gotten to where I don't even comment on those anymore. Because of that. But I mean, the things I send you were the things I send you were directly from our church.
I know. Makes me feel so bad if I don't answer it. I mean those comments on Facebook about Jesus.
Yeah, I get it, but these groups can get annoying. Right.
This comment.
Just start looking at different, like, pull up different pages from like friends, Facebook pages, and start liking stuff and following stuff from their pages, and you'll start getting it on yours.
Oh, yeah, it's. I love God so much. But
You guys.
getting annoying. I don't want to say annoying, but yeah, it is.
I mean, those groups can be annoying. Sorry, guys.
What?
I said it can be annoying, believe me. The reason why I end up deleting those chats and just blocking it, because I'm not gonna sit there and get 100 messages from some messenger group every day. Like, come on. I don't have time for that. I got too much going on for that.
Right?
Right?
Give me about your sermons. I talked to you and Scott about it.
Well, I'm not one that can go through and like explain what was really talked about in church very well. That's why I send them out. Plus, I love our church services, so.
I know.
Our church services are very uplifting.
Well,
Going back to that church was one of the best things that we did. Pastor James is amazing too.
I look on YouTube, listen to Billy Graham, other pastors. I listen to their sermons. People that like us. Because it's just aware of.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Church has a YouTube channel too.
Yeah. Trust.
Yeah, my friend Amy, her fiance, got turned off to Christianity because he got stupid and started listening to Kenneth Copeland. And I told Amy, I was like, why did he pull him up? Like, that is one of the worst people.
I like Kenneth Copeland.
He's a wolf in sheep's clothing.
I'm sorry, I like him.
I
like their group.
Yeah, well.
There are several preachers on there that are different categories that have uplifting and spiritually that I have followed.
Did you put mine in the refrigerator?
Yeah. I would rather listen to like Billy Graham or.
I like Billy Graham. I really do.
Billy Graham was amazing. And another YouTube channel that I like is his name is Isaiah Saldivar. He's amazing. I love his videos. And then Vlad, this other guy, his name is Vlad Savchuk. And he's like, he has like missionary. He has like a mission thing going where he goes to like overseas and helps feed children and hurting families and
Lay down.
reaches out.
Kenneth Copeland does that too. They do. They've got different missionaries. They have raised money for different. You've got somebody calling me. Let me call you back.
Okay. Excuse me. Sorry, guys. I literally got into an hour after. It's just a friend I don't get to talk to very much. Okay. So. Man.
Good afternoon, everyone. We have something that's
Nebula, go lay down. Go.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Go
Welcome back
lay
to
down.
Full Spectrum Survival in this afternoon's broadcast as we see what's happening around the world and how it's going to affect you in the next 24 hours. I want to go ahead and
Yes, we did get through that one. All right, so the next one. This is.
We've got a problem, and I hope that maybe
This is just a video that he put out on their property.
It before, and you can help us out with some ideas. We rely 100% on our chickens to give us the egg production that we use every day. We went from having way too many eggs to barely enough, and this is because we have some predators that are attacking the chickens. Now, we just moved this chicken coop. It used to have a spot where it was sandbagged all around, very tight and secure, but with that security, you have water issues. And so we had water that was getting everywhere, pooling up, and so we had to move that. Now you can see we tried to trap using this, what I expect to be too large of a trap, and the raccoon or whatever it is just comes over and takes it out. Set up a camera here last night, didn't catch the raccoon because it's a little bit too low, but it sure looks like it. I've got a little bit of droppings that you can see right here, some more droppings right here, and you can see the feathers all over these sandbags.
Yeah.
We probably lost a total of 8 to 10 chickens.
That sucks.
That really sucks. So we've got another trap, new chickens that we're incubating and bringing along the way. We're also purchasing a different breed that we know works really well here. What do you guys experience with that? Mike said, let's just sit out here all night, wait for the little sucker to come and take him out. But we've got to wait and see. Can we get it with the trap? This one wasn't working. This is better for a dog because it has a little bit higher of a pressure plate as you can see there. So we've got that other one coming that we're going to set up. We also have to go get some pine dust, which we have over here. The pine dust is to put in the garden to try to stop some of our weed problems. We're doing no plastic covering because we don't want to do plastic covering if we don't have to. We still have our chickens.
We should get the pine shavings
really
for
saving us from not
mulch.
having any eggs at all.
Big enough bag.
We've got to get this under control, and I hope you guys will come with us. We've never tried this one before. The locals recommended it, and it's important to see what is working for the people around you. They recommended this kind. They said it was a little bit lighter of a trap, a little bit lighter of a trigger, heavier duty. We're going to set them both up. And I'm not screwing around anymore. We're using canned chicken. So we're putting a little bit of investment into catching the pest here.
For eggs
But
and
it has
potatoes
taken away 6-8 months worth of food
So
for
many
us.
of the
talking
chickens.
about
And we had
chicken.
2 left.
So let's put it together and see. We're using gloves. We think that
And
maybe our
eggs
scent,
will
the
go
human
in the
scent
flatbreads.
on the other one kept it from going all the way in it. We're hoping that maybe removing
still
the
have
scent
not made the
could
ketchup that I
smoke
was
it out.
planning on
It's too
making.
wet and too humid today to get any real smoke. But smoking it out would help get rid of some of that scent.
Trigger's light.
We've got a roadkill turtle, a farm death turtle that we are putting in one of our boxes. We're going to sun bleach it, and the sun is going to take away, the bugs will come in and they'll eat the turtle. We've got some ants up there, and then we're going to make some good use out of it. I think this is a native Alabama map turtle. We have them all over here.
Maybe not making
Between the
these
turtle and tortoise, is the tortoise is land,
because that'll
dwelling,
give us
and
a
the turtle needs water. So these need water, but hey, I say we make use of whatever kind of
later.
roadkill or anything else we can find. Now, my brother is building a house nearby as we develop our full spectrum survival compound and mutual assistance groups out even further. We're going to now encompass even more family, more local friend group support. The next step that we needed to take is getting local sourced wood for the inside walls of his home. So we took a trip over to our friend Jerry's house, who has a sawmill. He does a lot of wood cutting for his own farm and for local purchasers inside of the area. Jerry has wood that he has cut down for projects that he has been working on, and he has cants to put up on the mill right now. Cants are semi-processed logs that have been squared off on up to 4 of their sides. They're all dried up and they're ready to go, and we're really lucky with this. Jerry has such a beautiful piece here. He calls it his own personal paradise. A beautiful lake that he dug out himself and stocked with fish. This includes some of the local area's best bass that I've ever seen evidence of. He has fruit trees, including apples, pears, and maybe peaches. There are nut-bearing trees on site, and some of the biggest.
Oh yeah, I couldn't
blackberry
get
patches
any
that I've
fruit
ever
trees this
seen.
year. Now they're gone.
Now, his home is on one of the regional creeks that has an enormous amount of local history attached to it. And he built some of his first cabins on the site.
If we have
So the wood
3
that he
orchards
took
like
down
that,
to
we
make a
do.
larger garden area that is presented to organizations
This will be
for conservatorship across our entire state. And then after we finished touring his property, it was time to set up for Jerry to come back to our place. He used his excavator to dig down past the hard packed at our virgin ground. And what we're doing is building the largest family compound garden that we have been able to have in years.
See, that's
Right
what I
early
want
in
to
the
be able
morning,
to
Jerry
do.
made
But
it back out to our place to start digging. Now, when it's all said and done, we're going to have around 4 acres of cover crop enriched, clay-rich soil. It's going to be great for everything from tubers like potatoes, corn, tomatoes, herbs, and pretty much everything in between. And then after that was done, it was time to go and get Mike's house ready to put the cement stain and the cement sealer back on the floor. Whatever is on the floor is going to be in your sealed final cover. So we spent a lot of time vacuuming and sweeping up all the small bugs and all the insulation that had fallen down off of the roof onto the concrete. We put up plastic on all sides of the walls because we have already had the entire house spray foamed. And really the last thing that we want to happen is for the acid stain or even the cement sealer to eat through the foam that we spent so much time getting just right inside of the walls. And then mopping and moving was next. And this small, inexpensive device really saved the day. You're definitely going to want to have one of these if you keep any sort of farm animals and you want to keep them safe and really keep you safe during something like a biological outbreak. Maybe something like avian influenza. We had to take a break and go pick up the baby chickens that we needed. These are the ones that are replacing the ones that the raccoons stole from us. Remember, it's a 6-month time and feed investment into a baby chick just to get your first egg. So if you do need something quick, you're going to want to get quail, which start to lay their first eggs within about the first 6 weeks of their life.
Yep. And we're still planning on getting quail.
After we got the baby chicks settled in, it was time to meet Jerry back over at Mike's place. We're now getting the water line from his well to his house.
The whole money situation at the moment.
If we didn't have these types of connections, it would be days and days of hand digging through dense, rocky, and mountainous areas. And that would be us digging the trench from the well site up to Mike's house. It's definitely doable, but we're sure glad to be able to take advantage of the opportunities while they're here. After all of that work, our next project took us right back to the compound garden. The ground is complete and it's time to throw buckwheat seeds onto the soil for a crop cover. Now, Mike did a lot of the research here, both on what we should use and our soil and what would deliver the best nutrients back into the soil. And what we have here is really high in clay. So buckwheat was high up on the list.
We have a lot of clay here,
and this was
too.
considering that it's a cover crop that gives back to the soil And
We're
of
still getting
course,
some
we can eat it.
nice breeze through
If you
here.
can imagine the flavor of buckwheat, it's somewhere between brown rice, maybe a bowl of oats, and sunflower seeds. But it does have a heartier, more rustic
Buckwheat
character than
flour
any
is
of those
really
put
good,
together.
actually. I love making
And then how you
buckwheat
cook it is you get the
pancakes.
growth. Now the growth is the whole edible
Never made
seed of the
buckwheat
buckwheat
bread.
plant after the tough outer hull has been removed. You're just going to put it in some broth or some water. You can add your flavorings to it, and you eat it kind of how you would eat oats or couscous. It is very high in magnesium, copper, and protein, and we thought that it was probably our best choice to plant for the future of our compound, and really for the time being, just in case something happens in the food supply chain, and that made it so that we would have to eat this food on its first grow. We planted some sweet corn in there too, and that was really just to see how it's going to grow in this untouched soil. We mixed a little freehand throwing of the corn seeds, and we built some rows together with the hoe on the back of the tractor and pulled the dirt over after we put the corn seeds inside. We're going to make sure to show you everything as it comes up. See if you really can hand throw some of this seed out there. And then after countless resupplies of the hand cranked seed spreader, with Mike throwing his mix out by hand in a 5-gallon bucket, we sat back, we took a look at everything that we have done, and we called it good.
Really, guys? All right.
Picture concrete carved into the side of it.
All right. So, again, this is probably
Okay,
gonna
problem.
be a pretty long video. Again, I'm trying to get caught up on everything that's been going on. There's been a lot going on. There really has. So, we're gonna go into breaking black box warning.
You need communications and the backups to those communications and a plan that doesn't depend entirely.
Okay, nope. What did I do?
Important. Now, let me tell you something.
Emergency evacs order.
Libya, right? Where we made.
Okay, so I skipped a little bit.
1% of America's
There
food
we go.
supply chain was just wiped out. An out of control fire, potentially a food supply chain attack at a cold storage warehouse in Los Angeles, California.
And yes, this
It
is
has
being
been
done on
quickly
purpose.
burning for days, prompting authorities in that area to issue a declaration of emergency. And what they have done is said that something bigger is probably happening here. They say that the containment of the blaze is inaccessible at this time. The facility holds 89 million pounds of America's frozen food supply. Now, officials say that the combination of toxic smoke, structural hazards, and the enormous volume of food that is stored inside here in what began as just an unknown warehouse fire has now turned into a complex public health and environmental emergency. Now, you might say it's just 90 million pounds of food, and that's only 1 to 3% of the nation's overall frozen food supply. And technically,
I'm going to use a measuring teaspoon. This is ridiculous.
One warehouse fire does not determine the fate of the United States of America.
No.
But it only takes a couple more hits in the magnitude that we are seeing to make it so that you and your family do not get the food that you need at the grocery store anymore.
Yep.
The food that keeps America from rioting does not magically appear on the shelves of our stores.
Nope.
It moves through a complex chain of supply that involves farms,
you guys have to remember,
processing warehouses,
again, most of that
drivers,
stuff is healthy.
The fuel supply chain, computer systems, a distribution center, and finally, the retailer. Now, we have seen storage and transportation as two of the most frequently attacked and probably the most vulnerable positions or links in the supply chain because they literally connect every single other component. Imagine for a moment a statewide shutdown of food transportation caused by a series of events just like this. In the first 24 hours, Most people will not notice anything. Grocery stores will still appear to be stocked.
Really?
Your restaurants will operate and life will look like normal. But behind the scenes, it's the just-in-time delivery system. The resupply cycle will have already broken down by hours 48 to 72. Certain products will likely disappear first. You're going to see fresh bread, milk, produce, and meat begin thinning out as normal deliveries fail to arrive. And then once local residents become aware of the disruptions, their buying behavior changes rapidly.
11 o'clock.
We've already seen that panic in the last couple of years. That panic buying can empty shelves far faster than normal consumption patterns would suggest, faster than they could resupply them. And the problem is that the food didn't vanish from the country, but that the distribution system cannot move these goods quickly enough to where they are needed around our country. And so by the end of the first week after a coordinated attack, communities will likely start facing their own visible shortages. The shelves won't necessarily be completely shut out and empty, but you'll start missing categories. You'll see limited choices, you'll see rationing policies, and you'll definitely see longer lines at the grocery store. These will be associated with disruption of the delivery system that will get rid of weeks worth of inventory before replenishment becomes critical. What we would see is not an immediate starvation of our population, but it's simply something that is potentially even more devastating or destabilizing in the short term. And that's uncertainty. Your fellow American brothers and sisters, they can tolerate hardship surprisingly well when they understand what is happening and when they understand when normality will return. But what creates instability is confusion. The moment that families start to wonder whether they will be able to buy food next week, the family buying pattern behavior changes. And then you see people starting to purchase even more than they need. You have friends calling friends saying, let's get up and meet at the grocery store. You have social media video amplifying rumors that are happening. You'll start to see videos of empty shelves spreading across the internet, and every photograph of a half-stocked grocery store will become proof that the situation is far worse than officials will claim. Demand will spike at precisely the moment that the supply chain begins to be constrained. And then as these shortages worsen, law enforcement will have a difficult decision. They will find themselves dealing with problems that they rarely encounter during normal operation. Now, their initial role will be to focus on movement control, crowd management, protection of distribution centers, and of course, security as it revolves around the retail location. The first incidents will probably not resemble Hollywood-style riots. It will more likely look like fights in parking lots, theft from grocery stores, disputes over the ration of goods, or looting of vulnerable businesses. And of course, an increased call for law enforcement service. And then as the shortages continue, authorities will need to provide security only to food distribution points. They'll escort the supply convoys that are moving across the country, and they will coordinate with emergency management agencies like FEMA. But the even scarier part of all of this is the fires and destruction that we will begin to see from a geopolitical dimension. America's adversaries are studying our vulnerabilities. They're watching right now how society reacts under stress, and they are analyzing our dependency on critical infrastructure. An enemy country that seeks strategic advantage never needs to send a tank across American soil. They don't even need their drones to cross our borders. What they will do is exploit confusion through information operations. Foreign actors will begin flooding social media, and rumors that shortages are worse than they're reported will make the situation even worse. Videos showing the riots, coordinated campaigns that are designed to convince everyday citizens that the government institution has lost all of its control. Now, the United States of America, we do possess vast agricultural capacity. We possess transportation infrastructure, and we have experienced law enforcement and management, emergency management organizations. But where we are lacking is our ability to restore distribution, to maintain public confidence, and to prevent panic from becoming even more dangerous than the actual disruption itself. When the smoke and ash settles, we will be left with little. Now, in my opinion,
And that's the
an
problem.
eventual
That's why we
collapse
have to be able
is
to
inevitable.
raise and grow our own food.
And out-of-state complexities create dependency. And the more interconnected our systems became, the more important it was to understand just where these bottlenecks actually exist. So the 1% attack that we are seeing right now on America's food supply chain, it might not break the country today, but it does put a lot more stress on an already strained system. And I think a lot of people are looking at this fire and the other ones across the country at the oil refineries and the gas depots, and they're seeing nothing more than just a local disaster. Smoke, fire, damaged property, and unfortunate loss. But what they are not seeing is what this represents when you look through the eyes of national resilience. Americans have never witnessed the fragile machinery that operates behind the scenes that keep grocery stores stocked and shelved. They see freezer aisles that are full of more food than they can buy. Fresh produce, people behind the meat counter, overflowing shelves. What they don't see are the warehouses that are on fire, the distribution centers that are being cyber attacked, the trucking fleets that are suffering a fuel shortage, the connecting railways, the refrigeration systems, the power grid, the computer systems, and all of the fuel that makes modern abundance possible. Now, food doesn't just magically appear at our grocery store. Instead, it travels through a highly interconnected chain that depends 100% on thousands of moving parts that work together every hour of every single day.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I see this 1% attack on our food supply chain as something possibly much larger than a lot of people are willing to admit. And I'm going to keep watching it for you guys here. While we gather today's survival tip, we're going to take a
kept saying something about this needs to be cleaned out.
This episode of Full Spectrum Survival is brought to us by you, the viewer, and by Chapter. One of the largest mistakes that families make is waiting too long to handle important things. Preparedness is not just about what is happening in the world right now. It's also about making sure that your family and the people that you care about are covered in the future. For many Americans, our group members included, Medicare planning is one of the largest and most stressful parts of that process. Chapter compares plans nationwide. They help simplify the system so that you and your family can make informed decisions without confusion. If you're already on the best plan, they're going to tell you. There's no pressure. It's completely free. Most calls take under 20 minutes, and you can call them at 610-900-4081 or use the link below. Experienced survivors know how important Mylar bags are. They should really be a foundation of your preparedness plan. They do have vulnerabilities, though. But there's one principle here.
Or to do that.
Food security is not how much food you have. It's whether you'll be able to eat the food, stored food, when you need it. Now, I've seen plenty of people spend thousands of dollars building their food reserves, and then they have a significant portion of it that rusts through the cans because they were kept in humid conditions or allowed salty air to get to it. And what changes them from a survivor is proper storage. So when you package your dry foods, like your rice, your beans, oats, wheat berries, whatever it is,
freaking gross.
Low moisture is your survival. Mylar bags with appropriately sized oxygen absorbers are going to create a barrier that a lot of people are missing. Oxygen absorbers remove not all, but most of the remaining oxygen inside of the sealed bag, and this dramatically slows the process of oxidation. And then that in turn reduces the conditions that allow insects and larvae to hatch out of the eggs that are already in your food.
Can you give me the broom and
The
dust?
Mylar itself is a light blocking tool, and it provides a much stronger protective
Please don't
barrier
run it
than
across that
plastic
nasty
storage
area.
totes, which I do see a lot
I
of
wasn't
people
going
use.
to.
And what this does
I'm
is
gonna
it
wait
allows
until
you
I
to
got
store
it
your food
cleaned up.
for decades,
Kittens
but
are
only when
playing
you
with
store it
that.
correctly.
'Cause
Folks, you're watching
this,
Full
yeah,
Spectrum Survival, where every day I scroll so that you don't have to. Please be aware of this 1% attack. Be aware of what is happening and be ready for the future. Share this video and hype it. Make sure you check back at 2 p.m. this afternoon for another broadcast. From my family to
All
yours,
right.
I don't
please
know
stay
if you want
safe
that or not.
and keep watch.
So the next one,
1% of America's food supply chain was just wiped out. An out of control fire.
attack in Chicago. Okay, yeah, this was a
There-
week ago.
There is a fight happening right now that America
Probably gonna do
cannot
eight.
afford to lose. The country of Iran just hardened their stance on the U.S. negotiating process, and they have declared that the Iranian delegation will not return to the negotiating table until the President of the United States of America personally apologizes for recent threats against the Iranian government. Iran is now explicitly demanding the
You know what?
full Israeli
I think I
withdrawal
just,
from southern Lebanon. And according to the Iranian president, a quote says, "What is certain is that we will never give up our right to enrich uranium." And the other side, speaking of America, will have no choice but to accept this. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at some of the events that are happening out there today.
No,
Israel's security doctrine. We initiate, we attack, we surprise,
It's fine.
and we attack those enemies that
Not
seek
even
our
worry
destruction,
about it.
that seek to kill us. We attack them before they have a chance to do so. If you know Hebrew, hakam lo gecha, ashkem lo go. Kill them first.
This is a pretty big change of posture by the Israeli government, in which they're moving not towards reactive attacks, but they are moving into a headfirst focused attack against every country that they see as against the nation.
To Saudi Arabia, now's the time to open negotiations yet again for you to expand the Abraham Accords, for you to join. I think this is going to happen in 2026, and it can't happen until Iran's in a box. If we get a deal, Iran will be in a box. If we don't get a deal, Iran will be in a box. To Lebanon, to the people in Lebanon, help is on the way. Hezbollah has been terrorizing your country for a long time. That's about to end.
At this point in time, with full sincerity at my domain, thank President Donald Trump for his visionary and
Getting
very
the eggs
dynamic
out.
leadership,
No potatoes.
which has resulted
I want to get
in this
be able to pour
making
leaves
here
in here.
today the golden city of Birkenstock. And I think here we are going to have wonderful discussions, which will.
Now, that's obviously a PR push. I want you to watch the actual shade that took place behind the scenes. Look here as watch the United States of America's vice president reportedly humiliated. Now, this is completely bypassing the vice president of the United States of America, moving on to stand beside Pakistan when asked to come close and give a handshake, completely ignored. I've never seen anything like this before. And here we have our chief, J.D. Vance, Kushner. Look at what's happening.
I haven't letting the videos go, you guys. I'm just trying to get some things done while you guys are getting caught up on what's going on.
Obviously, you can tell like a cafeteria inside of a high school. There's a lot going on behind the scenes with this.
Let's try a diplomatic solution. I think it's going to fail. What happens next? I spent 4.5 hours with President Trump Friday. Here's what I think will happen next. If this deal fails, President Trump is going to take the Strait of Hormuz over by force. The United States will control the Strait of Hormuz. We'll charge a fee for all of those who go through to pay for the operation. And we're going to expand the Abraham Accords in calendar year 2026. We're going to get Saudi Arabia to join the Abraham Accords, and which is the biggest change in 5,000 years in the Mideast. And if Iran contests control of the Strait of Hormuz.
What I will say, and this does bother me, is that you've seen people within Bibi's cabinet.
JD Vance is discussing the Israeli prime minister in Israel,
Who have come out and attacked the deal, and in some ways very personally attacked the president of the United States. And I guess my message to them would be twofold. Number one, Donald J. Trump is the only head of state in the entire world who is sympathetic to the nation of Israel at this moment in time. And he happens to be the head of state of the world's superpower. If I was in the cabinet of the Israeli government, I might not be attacking the only powerful ally that I have anywhere left in the entire world.
Now, what we're seeing is that Israel was promised real change with this, that the Middle East would look not like it has for the last, or whatever, 47 years, and we would start to see actual change within the country, and what they got instead was something very different from that.
And great.
Now, JD Vance obviously looks stressed there. You have the Iranian president meeting with Pakistan here, and look at Vance as he determines what to do.
All right, we can't push these all the way back.
I, for one, believe that there's a lot more going on behind the scenes of this entire negotiation than they will ever let the American people know about.
For years, people told us, you cannot attack the soil of Iran. Yes, you can do Mossad operations, and we did quite a few. I authorized many. But you cannot send our military to Iran.
No one's going to want.
But we changed that. We sent our brave pilots over the skies of Iran, and they took out targets, regime targets, terror targets. We decapitated the leadership of the terror regime. We shattered their missile industry. We knocked out their Navy, knocked out their Air Force. We attacked their military industries. We attacked their bridges. We attacked so many targets that the cumulative damage that we did to the IRGC economy is not counted in the millions. It's not counted in the hundreds of millions. It's not counted in the hundreds, in the billions. It's counted in hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars. And it will.
So what Netanyahu is saying is that the damage that was done to the Iranians is being counted in hundreds of billions of dollars. And isn't it just a strange coincidence that we are offering to give them $300 billion just to keep a waterway open? Now, we're either being lied to by the government or we're not. And it's as simple as that.
We are.
Either we do not need oil to flow to the Strait of Hormuz for the operations of the world's greatest superpower, the USA, a nuclear-backed military that is capable of taking over any country in the world.
So bad right now.
Or we absolutely need that waterway to stay open. Now, Donald Trump just spoke on NATO allies, and he said that when we needed you, you did nothing. You didn't have our back. You said that it was wrong in what we are doing. When we tried to stop a country, this is from Donald Trump's opinion. when we, America, tried to stop our country from being able to control a waterway that supplies you with your oil.
That didn't really wash your
You
hands,
held back.
did it?
And that, according to Trump, was one of the gravest mistakes that these nations could have ever made. And I think that we're going to see the fallout for that for some time.
Youngsters, we established a security zone in Gaza. We established a security zone in Syria. We established a security zone in Lebanon, and we shall keep it as long as it's necessary to protect our people. Young-
This was supposed to be a joyous time. Neighbors say many people had gathered to celebrate you. Surveillance video capturing what appears to be a barrage of gunfire. Shortly after, you see people running for cover. Chicago police were called to 95th and Princeton after a mass shooting around 11 Friday night in the city's Princeton Park neighborhood.
Folks, America is not a safe country. It's up to you and your family to understand the realities that we face every day.
Well, apparently I repeated videos that I did on the last live.
Whether it's surveillance cameras outside of your house, self-defense tools, and situational awareness, you need to be understanding the direction that we are going, not just where we are at today, but things are about to get worse. And in that mindset, you prepare. There's never any fear or afraid about what's going to happen. You just understand it.
You could probably do a live every day until we get caught up on these.
Today. Please also make sure that you're subscribed to Full Spectrum Survival on YouTube. Share this video, offsite, and hype this video, and check back tomorrow morning. We put out 2 broadcasts every day. Thank you for being part of our family here. From mine to yours, please stay safe and keep watch.
All right. Let's go back over to subscription here.
Now hold up. This guy at first glance might look like he's trying to promote his next.
We did these 2 videos. All right, so I think I'm just gonna go ahead and talk to you for a minute.
Things because a lot's happening. I'm talking about.
Actually,
howdy.
I will go to James Prigioni. And we will cover
harvest.
Wait.
Harvest. Like this massive cauliflower. Look at the size of this thing.
Okay, I'm going to pull this one up.
Harvest. Like this massive cauliflower. What's going on, growers? It's James Prigioni coming to you live from Jersey. Today, I'm going to share with you 7 critical summer actions you need to take in your garden right now. Let's go! Spring is over, which means a lot of our cool season crops are ready to harvest, like this massive cauliflower. Look at the size of this thing. This is by far the biggest cauliflower I have ever grown. It's unbelievable. Okay. Let me harvest it right now.
I want to try to start including a gardening video
and that'll lead us into the
lives.
First action we need to take at this time of the year. It's so heavy.
Some really amazing videos.
Oh my god. This is gonna be so much for you.
And I might go ahead and include a More Than Farmers video.
This is unbelievable.
Every one of them.
By far the biggest and heaviest cauliflower I have ever grown. And it's perfect. The shape, the color, harvested just at the right time. So ideally, when we harvest our spring crops, we want to make sure we have some summer crops on deck to go in and replace it, like cucumbers. We can start them in seed cells. This way, we can get them growing before we even harvest our cauliflower. Then transplant them in right after we grab our spring crop. This way, there is no gap of time where we don't have something growing. So as the weather changes, we aren't fighting against it. We're using it to our advantage. If you don't have a summer crop on deck ready, you can still direct sow cucumbers or summer squash. They only take about 60 days to go from seed to
We're
harvest.
gonna have
Or
to
you can get
focus
something
on
like bush beans
something
planted.
only
They
takes
prefer to be direct sown, and now is the
maybe
perfect
70
time to get
days,
them in the
maybe
ground.
75 to
Just pop
harvest.
9 in per square foot. It's quick and easy to do. In no time, they will sprout, and boy, do they grow fast. Then, only about 60 days after planting, you'll be harvesting some perfect fresh beans that are delicious right off the plant. Now is when tomato plants really thrive. They're soaking up the sun and growing super quickly. We want to keep that rapid growth going and also support the plants as they fruit. Come in here. Like you see here, we've got some beautiful fruit forming right here. And then there's more down here. And even more as we go up some larger tomatoes right up here. So all the tomatoes are setting fruit. To help support these plants, we want to go by and give them a fertilizer, a top dressing of it, to make sure that they have the
dry
level of nutrition
Use
to
one of these.
keep growing, to keep setting fruit, and to just take things to the next level.
Potatoes in.
You can use either a all-purpose fertilizer, like this one here.
I still should be able to plant potatoes.
Whatever one you
I
want to
gotta
use,
get
that's
that big
both
garden
work.
done.
The important part is that as these plants are starting to switch from just growth into fruiting, we want to make sure that we're giving them the nutrition they need. For me, it's easy to fertilize my tomatoes because I have them in this tomato trellis here. I can simply just add my top dressing to each plant, then mix the fertilizer into the top few inches of the soil, and go back and water it all in. Tomato plants can develop a number of problems if we allow the soil to dry out too quickly. Uneven watering can lead to issues like blossom end rot, where the bottom of our fruit essentially just rots. If we allow the soil to dry out too much and then come back with a heavy watering, that can also cause our tomatoes to split. To help prevent these issues, what I suggest you do right now is get down a thick, organic mulch.
Why?
For my annuals in my raised beds, I prefer to use a mulch that will break down quicker than wood chips. One that I can just put into my beds, and if I leave some of it, it's okay. If a little bit gets mixed into the soil, then that's okay. If you mix wood chips into your soil, it's gonna have a soil stomachache. But if you use something like diced leaves or straw, those will break down quick and won't cause any issues if you mix a little into your soil. I will usually use diced leaves that I get in the fall, and then I'll just go over them with a lawnmower. Actually, well, they're not diced leaves when I get them, but they're bag leaves. I'll save them from the fall, dump out the bag, go over it with my lawnmower till they're all diced up, and use that as a mulch. But this year, I've got some extra straw. Some straw that I was using to plant grass at the farm. So I'm going to use the straw this year. But like I said, you can use diced leaves. This kind of mulch, a more annual mulch like this, is really good. Jeff Walton would say
Get
that
on with the eggs.
annuals like a bacteria-dominated soil. So using a straw like this or diced leaves will create a highly bacteria-dominated soil, which is perfect. If you use more of a wood chip mulch, that's going to create more of a fungal-dominated soil. So I'm getting these annuals all mulched too. This will help retain all the moisture, keep the soil cool. And again, if some of this gets mixed into the soil, that's fine. It won't cause any issues. We'll just keep doing this. But I have to say, when it comes to my tomatoes, I do like using a wood chip mulch. Over the years, I have found that a wood chip mulch really does work best for me when it comes to tomatoes. It truly keeps the soil.
It actually
very
feels
cool,
pretty nice.
while also retaining the moisture for a very long period of time. Not having the sun beating directly on the soil allows the soil to dry out slow and evenly instead of just the surface drying out. After getting my wood chip mulch down around my tomato plants, I make sure to go by and give them a deep watering. That's the kind they like, not just a little sprinkling. I also make sure to water at the base.
Hope you guys, end up learning quite a bit from these.
When it rains, but as much as possible, we want to keep these leaves dry.
I apologize for the phone call.
Another reason why
I probably will edit that out.
And pruning them is the most ideal way to grow them. To keep the leaves dry when the rain does come, they can dry out quickly because light and air are the enemy of disease, and we want to keep these plants healthy. At this time of year, tomatoes grow so rapidly that you want to come out and prune entire tomatoes regularly, probably like every other day. If you come right here, you'll notice we've got some small suckers. Again, we want to remove them when they're small. That's the best way to do it. So we'll just pop these off just by hand. And then I'll take a clip. This is my favorite way to tie tomatoes, with these clips. It makes it super simple. And we'll just take a clip, push it on the back, and then
support the tomato just like that. It's so easy to do as long as you come out here regularly. It's a simple task. It's an important one, and it makes a big difference. Sometimes the heat in the
I do
sun
have one
is
other
so
video that I
brutal,
did
and the
outside to
sun is
upload.
so powerful that your plants simply can't take it. You'll start to see them get like weak and sad and flopping over and just becoming so stressed out, and they just really need something. Fortunately, there's a very simple way to reduce the power of the sun and allow the plants to cope better with the heat. And it's a simple 40% shade cloth. So what I'll do is take a 40% shade cloth like this on those super hot days, or even when I'm transplanting, and drape it over my bed. What this does is it gives those plants that little bit of relief they need. And it's not something you have to keep on the whole entire day. You can just keep it on for a few hours, allow the plants to kind of like take a breath and, you know, deal with the heat a little better and not be so stressed out. This will make it so on those hot days, the plants are actually growing. They're not just surviving, essentially. You'll also notice that underneath the shade cloth, I have this insect netting on. This is the simplest and best cheap tool to make sure you don't have any pest issues. I'll take this off to show you. Look at these plants. I haven't sprayed one plant one time as I take this off. Look at the health of these plants with no bug bites. Beautiful kale. Look at that. I mean, it's absolutely perfect. Kale over here, gorgeous. All these plants are just a peak because no pests. Even right here, we have a cabbage. This one actually looks like it's snapped over here. But look at that. Beautiful cabbage. Don't have to worry about bugs when you keep this insect netting on.
What are you
If you haven't been using insect netting though, and you have some pests on your plants, don't let them just decimate them. Fight back. Some good options are if you have cabbage worms or even tomato hornworms. BT is my favorite spray for that. It's organic and safe to use up to the day of harvest. If you have soft-bodied insects like aphids, then I suggest using the Safer soap. This stuff works fantastic, and it's also safe to use. It's a really nice one. If you have problems with cucumber beetles or with squash vine borers, then I suggest you spray on your plants the Team Grow Plant Armor. This is a preventative, so you want to do it before the cucumber beetles come. What you do is you spray these on the leaves for the cucumbers to keep off cucumber beetles, or on your squash, and you could spray it on the stem of your squash or your cucumbers to help prevent the squash vine borer. The Team Grow Kale and Clay, the plant armor, it works great. As my plants continue to grow and these squash and cucumbers start to flower, I need them to be pollinated. So I need to remove that insect netting. You can also go by and pollinate your squash by hand with either a Q-tip or using the male flower and bringing it over to the female. What we want to do is make sure we're getting good pollination for these plants. Now that they're protected, now that they have no bug bites or anything, they can thrive. They got past that susceptible stage when they're younger, and they can start heading into production. But again, we got to remove that insect netting so the bees can come in.
I think I was going to be in the kitchen the whole time, but hey.
Action that I want to get into doesn't seem like an action at first glance, but it's actually incredibly important, and it's something you need to be doing right now. And it has to do with journaling what's going on in your garden. Journal when you first planted your stuff.
Yep.
Journal when you harvested. Journal the issues you had and make sure you date them. This way, in the future, that can guide you on what's coming, how to prevent it, and what works the best in your location. Even journal the kind of plants that you're growing. Right here is a tomato. You can see it's got a lot of nice growth on it. This is the mushroom basket tomato. It's one of those beefsteaks that does fantastic for me every single year. Fortunately, I keep a journal in my notes on my phone. This way I can just type in any word and then it brings me to that. I also have these videos to be able to reference too. But a journal is truly one of the most valuable things you could have.
Yep.
Bill Mollison would tell a story about how years ago in like maybe the 1800s and 1900s early era, everyone would keep a journal of exactly what they did on their farm. So when the next person bought the farm, they could pass that down to them. That would be so incredibly helpful because we could, even when it comes to weather, we could look back at past weather when frosts come, but every location is just a little bit different. So if we keep our own personal records, it has such a higher value to be able to reference in the future. And I know I'm like maybe talking a lot about it, but if it's something you could take from this video, if anything you got from this video, take away journaling because it will help you so much in the future. That's today's video, growers. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of it. Make sure if you did enjoy the video, hit the like button. If you watch the video and you don't hit the like button, YouTube assumes that you just didn't like it. So if you do like it, make sure you hit the like button, share this with your friends, and share this with anyone who can find value in it that will encourage them to get out in the garden more, to keep gardening, and to lead them to success. Because the more success you have in the garden, even little wins, makes it more encouraging, and that might keep someone growing next year and into the future. That's the goal, to get everyone growing, to be part of Team Grow and grow a better future together. I wanted to send a thank you to one of our new channel members, Mike Stewart. Thanks for being a part of Team Grow, Mike. Thanks for having your hand in everything we're doing out here. The tomatoes, as you saw, are looking gorgeous. The health is incredible. We're grabbing massive cauliflowers. There's cabbage right behind it. Look at this cabbage. Come check this out. I didn't show you. Look at that. Look how healthy it is. Look, perfect. 0 bug bites. Gorgeous. Ready to be harvested. There's so much dang food in here. When you grow things correctly, when you fertilize them, when you build good soil, when you protect them, not only do you get great harvests, but it just makes gardening so enjoyable, especially when you don't have to go out and spray your plants all the time. I hope you got value out of this video. I had a blast out here, and we'll be back to you with another one real soon.
All right, so farmers. I'm gonna go into. I'll pull up one from More Than Farmers. And I'll make it a little bit of a shorter one.
I've been preparing for planting season
ago, and
it seems like protein is getting added to just about.
Here you go.
I've been preparing for planting season since February, starting seeds indoors, keeping the seedlings watered, and then moving the grow light upwards as they grow. So much time and effort goes into planting season. I consider it the busiest and most important time of the year. The success of our food security goals hangs on planting season. Planting season can be stressful with our wet springs, and I'm so ready to finally have it behind me. All of the cool weather plants are established now in my gardens, and all that's left is to finish work seeding
because I never get the gardens in our time.
Warm weather crops. And then we are done planting our year's worth of food. It's going to be a busy day because we have mulching and also a bunch of strawberries that have to be done, but it will also be a satisfying day. So let's get to it. We have so much to do today. I'm just being very, very intentional. I'm just taking one step and then the next and then the next and the next. Our first priority today is to do these strawberries. I paid a pretty penny for them, and so I want to get them in the freezer before anything happens to them because strawberries can be pretty fragile. These strawberries came from, I think it's Mount
I wish
Victory,
I
from
could
the
have
Amish
gone
community. I asked for strawberries that don't have any sprays, and to my knowledge, these do not. This is the first year in probably, I don't know, close to a decade that I have not had my own strawberry patch. And it's very hard on me. I'm not even going to lie about that. But last year, I did not plant a strawberry patch of my own because I wasn't sure if we were going to be here anymore. And this year we are here. And so I don't have strawberries. I'm very okay with it. I've made my peace with it. But man, berries are very expensive to buy. And so I'm not messing around with these. I'm going to get them straight into the freezer before anything happens to them. Today, in order to get all the stuff done that we want to get done, we're going to have to divide and conquer. So I think I'm going to have some of the kids cap strawberries while Cody and I do some work in the garden.
Michelle's getting the kids started with the strawberries, and I'm getting started with our next project. We need to get the potatoes mulched with leaves. That's kind of our version of hilling potatoes. They do get hilled once with the dirt. Michelle already did that last week, but we're going to put leaves on now, and that's our second hilling, and it keeps it mulched at the same time. Works really well to keep the sun off the potatoes that are at the top of the soil and to keep that soil nice and moist. Once it gets down to these wet leaves, I think I need a pitchfork.
Why? It doesn't have to be at his appointment thing until after 1. Scott, it's Mason. Why do you think it takes an hour to get to Mason? Oh.
This year, I am more serious than I've probably ever been about keeping weeds down in my garden. I just have this like inkling, this intuition.
I decided I'm gonna
that
get
really
some
needs to be out
pine
in my
shavings, the pine bedding,
This year, just
and I'm gonna try to use that for mulch.
and a
See
lot
what
of the other
happens.
things that we have going on. I just really, really don't want the weeds to get out of hand. And so in areas where I have my perennials or walkways and stuff, I am laying down cardboard and wood chips just to make so that nothing gets out of hand. So right here along these raspberries, I'm going to lay down cardboard, and we have some extra wood chips that I'm going to lay down on top of this. And then the rest of the garden is just going to get leaves, but I want this to be mulched really, really good. Anna of all trades told me about cardboard. I talked to her at length about this, and she said that cardboard is actually safe to put in the garden, and that a lot of the glues that are used are actually, how did she say, like a starch based. I think they're made with like corn, and the earthworms actually really love it, and it's very biodegradable. And so I'm taking the plunge this year. I had the kids pull all the stickers off of these boxes. Cody went to Tractor Supply and was just like, hey, would you guys have junk cardboard that you don't want? And both times that he's gone, they have given him like lots and lots of cardboard. I'm so happy with it. And I think this is going to save me a ton of time this year.
Early spring can be a pretty stressful time of year for the garden. It's still definitely welcome after a long winter, but we spend a lot of time and energy getting things planted and making sure things get established. This spring, the temps got warm, then cold again, and froze some of our plants. And then not too long after that, we got some flooding. It's a roller coaster. We're ready now to just get everything in and established and go into maintenance mode for a while. All of this extra work up front with the mulching will cut way down on the work we'll have to do throughout the summer.
Next live I'm going to be doing probably tomorrow. I don't know if I'm going to do it in the morning or not. We'll see.
You'll thank us later.
Have a nice breeze coming through. Like cross breeze from the two.
Well, Cody is out getting the garden ready for planting. I'm going to quickly try to get these strawberries washed. The kids did such a good job of capping these. They did most of them. I helped a little bit. I still need to make some of these into strawberry jam today. It's already 4:30, but I'm just going to keep plowing right through. I also want to put a bunch of whole strawberries into Ziploc bags for the freezer. And then we quickly want to plant the last of our garden, which is dried beans, some cowpeas, and also my carrots. Those are all very important crops that I still need to get out. I just want to make it all happen today, and then I can relax the rest of the week. I have seedlings that are starting to come up, and I need to be watering them and taking care of them. And I just like to have things simplified in my brain so that I can cope better. Cody did a little bit of figuring with these strawberries, and Cody said that it was still cheaper to do this than to actually buy organic frozen strawberries at the grocery store.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And also these taste absolutely divine.
What are you doing?
And you're not going to get that flavor with anything from the grocery store, honestly.
No.
The other thing that I really like to do, I will always support small farmers when I can, especially small farmers who have really great practices. I would way rather do that than support the huge commercial companies that are doing lots of sprays, because strawberries are heavily, heavily sprayed. So this is one way that I can pour into my community, even if I am not growing these myself. That is the next best thing. Whoa, turn it off, honey. What?
Growing enough food to feed a family for an entire year is a lot of hard work. So much so that it can become really overwhelming. We actually came to the point where we were so overwhelmed with this homesteading lifestyle that we considered quitting it altogether. And that's actually where the idea for the name for our channel came from. our identity had been wrapped up in being farmers. That was what we were all about. That's what our focus was on. But we realized if we're going to make this lifestyle sustainable for us in the long run, we're going to have to be more than farmers. We're going to have to get outside this little bubble we had put ourselves in. Our focus had been completely on growing healthy food for our bodies to take care of ourselves in that way. But we realized there was another way that we needed to be taking care of ourselves. To put it simply, we had to make mental health a priority. There were more things going on with us than just overwhelm on the homestead, but we went through some different counseling and therapy, which really, really helped us. But more recently, I've been working with therapists. They're the sponsor of today's video, and it's online-based therapy. So you don't need to try to find somebody and drive to your therapy appointments. You can go on their website and get matched with a therapist in as little as a couple days. And then you can talk to your therapist with phone call, video chat, or messaging. One of the main purposes of our channel is to help others to see the need to become more than farmers before you get to the place where you realize it in your own life, because it is not a fun place to be. To get to the place where you are so overwhelmed and burnt out that you're just not sure what to do with yourself. So before you get to that point, find the help that you need. And if you want to use BetterHelp, there's a link in our description. It's betterhelp.com/morethanfarmers, and you can get 10% off your first month of therapy.
Hands up.
Okay, it's almost dinner time, and I don't have a plan for dinner, not gonna lie. But we really, really need to get these seeds planted. I'm not going to bed tonight until the rest of my garden is completely done. That was my biggest goal for today, and I will not go to sleep till it's done. So we have dried beans yet that I want to plant in this space here. I want to plant what we call, this is a substitute for zucchini for us, but it is like a summer squash. It's patty pan squash. And then I actually want to try some of that carrots and some cowpeas. And then the garden's completely done. And all that I have to do then, I can just focus on maintaining and watering and babying the seedlings.
Nice cross breezes out here
tonight. After we're all done with everything, I still have to water. I still have to make strawberry jam. We'll get there. The first thing that I'm going to plant here is carrots. Carrots are a staple crop. If you want to know more about what staple crops are, we have a course. We will have that linked in our description box. It's all about the strategy of how we are able to grow as much food as we do, the strategy behind it all. My favorite variety is Danvers 126.
Yeah, it's probably going to be really warm out here because I've been cooking.
And then I thin them meticulously. That is how you get giant carrots, is by thinning them to like 2 inches apart. I like to seed these pretty thickly because carrots are one of the more difficult things to germinate. And then I will thin these later.
Stay up too late.
So I have quite a bit of space left in the garden this year to fill in with dried beans because we're not doing dent corn and we're not doing popcorn because we have so much of those left. And if I would plant them again this year, a whole bunch of what we already have would go to waste. That's the really cool thing with crops like dried beans, popcorn, dent corn. They're dried, they're shelf stable for years. And so what we really need is dried beans this year. So I'm just filling in all the empty spaces with dried beans. We're going to start with the tiger.
I'm going to check it out and see if we can
next is the red
have an area where I can kind of do this and have
in the very best soil, because I for sure want these to,
especially the corn. I miss my corn.
The kids are doing the tiger's eye and the red kidney, and I'm going to do a new bean that we're trying this year called Calypso. I think it's so pretty. I think it's supposed to look like orchids. It's so cool. It reminds me of a Holstein cow. When I'm planting beans, I like to put 2 beans.
Reminds me of
right
the
each other.
1,500-year-old cave beans from Baker's Creek.
I don't know. Is it because there's a higher chance that one of them will germinate or not? I don't know. I just heard it one time. And now that I've done it, I get beautiful germination. So I do it. The red kidney and the tiger's eye that we're planting are just a handful of beans that I saved from last year.
There we go.
No,
lay down. Go lay down.
section of the garden over here and this whole section of the garden are completely planted now. And all that I have left is this small square right here. Right here, I'm going to be planting patty pan squash. It's the variety Sunburst. This
I really want to try that.
better for me than the green or the black zucchini. Those just get decimated with bugs. I pretty much can't get any fruit off of those. But the patty
zucchini does pretty good here.
really, really well for me, and they're so cute. So I'm doing one right here. I'm wanting to keep it as far away from my butternut squash as I can. And then I'm going to fill in the rest of this with navy beans. The planting actually went so fast because the kids were helping. And now we just need to quickly get this done and then water everything in. I'm probably going to have to set up the sprinklers to get this job done because it's a lot of area to cover. I probably don't need that many.
Almost ready to make eggs and flatbreads. I can get the eggs cut. Beautiful eggs from Fresh Eggs.
I am going to get these strawberries
get better than that,
into
guys.
Ziploc bags. I'm going to keep them whole because that's just our preferred way of using them. We use them mostly in smoothies. And then the others, I'm going to puree and I'm going to make jam tomorrow. I'm tired and I'm just like, I can't do the jam today. So I'm going to puree them and measure them out and put them in the fridge. And the rest are going in Ziploc bags. And we're going to call it a night. It's 8 o'clock. We are all exhausted. The kitchen is wrecked and my kids need me.
Kitchen is wrecked. I love it.
Well, the day didn't go as planned. It was a long day full of hard work, but it was a satisfying kind of hard work. We can look back at what we accomplished and feel good about it. I don't know.
I think you guys can kind of see like
something I realized for myself
why I really like this
is that
channel.
I need tasks and projects like this to work hard on and finish. We live and work on
Their channel has a lot of really
an
good
online business. And there have been stretches of time where I've spent most of my days on a
feel free to
computer,
check out
editing
More Than
videos,
Farmers.
answering emails,
And of course,
or working on our course. And I think Michelle,
the gardening channel with
really
James
see
Prigioni.
the wellness meter above my head, slowly dropping day after day. I was in one of those stretches not too long ago when I didn't feel like I had time to work on a project outside
Hold on,
that
guys.
needed to be done, but I finally decided I just needed to make it happen. I worked outside all day, and when I finished the project, I had a light bulb moment. It felt really good. I realized that a lot of the things I had been feeling emotionally and physically were coming from a lack of sunshine, fresh air, and just feeling good about myself for doing some hard physical labor and getting something done. We've seen it in our kids too. We'll ask them to help us with something, and they're really not excited about it at all. But by the end of the project, we can tell they're happier and they take pride in something they didn't even think they cared about. Desks and screens are just part of everyday life now, and most of us can't get away from them, but we can set boundaries and prioritize a little better. Like I pointed to earlier in this video,
Alright, now what I'll do is I'll put the link for his channel
eating healthy food.
in here.
Speaking of healthy food, though, Tirza made gluten-free shortcake.
So there's that, and then I will do the link for More Than Farmers.
Dessert ended up being more like a bedtime snack. It was perfect to end the day with, though. Then Michelle got pureed strawberries back out the next day and made lots of strawberry rhubarb jam. We didn't get the process on video.
Oh, cool! You can
We have
actually write
another
them
video
letters.
where she shows how she makes her jam, and I'll put that on the screen right here for you to watch next.
That's a bit of a fail.
So feel free to check out those channels, you guys.
Spring is finally starting to feel real around here. The cold weather is hopefully behind us. We have chicks in the brooder. The laying hens are giving us dozens of eggs thanks to the new daylight hours. The cows are enjoying the fresh grass, and it's finally time to plant out some of the cool weather crops. After a winter that felt like it was never going to end, we can't wait to go out and get our hands in the dirt.
And that was something else.
our chickens have been laying so many eggs, and I can hardly keep up with them because I don't do just a ton of baking, and my kids don't love scrambled eggs. So I really like to have eggs on hand. I do definitely miss them if we don't have eggs, but when there's so many, I have to be really intentional about actually getting them used because I have a whole bunch of washed eggs in the refrigerator as well because the counter out there was getting full. So Dutch baby pancakes are a recipe that I can use freshly milled grain for, and they take 10 eggs. I have a recipe that takes 10 eggs. And so I'm making that this morning. I'm going to have a really fun special sauce that just screams spring to put on top.
Forgetting something.
What?
The hot dog.
This morning, I'm going to be using freshly milled spelt with this recipe. You'll have the best results if you use
I would have gotten
white.
to it.
But I really like to use spelt in everything that I can, and they still turn out really good with spelt flour.
Oh.
It's best to leave freshly milled flour sitting in liquid for a while before you actually cook it up. That way the bran can soften and the flour can really soak up all that liquid. And so I'm going to let this soak for just a second, just a couple minutes while I go outside and pick some rhubarb because I want to make a strawberry rhubarb sauce to go over the top of these pancakes. I also just saw that there's some asparagus out there that needs to be picked, but I think I'm going to wait to do that until later because I really need to get breakfast to my kids. As soon as the butter is all nice and melted in those pans, I'm going to put this batter I'm going to divide it between the 3 different pans. This is the recipe from Grains in Small Places, and I doubled it to make so that it's enough for our family. I'm just going to quickly mix this up a little bit again, because the whole grain has a tendency to kind of float to the bottom.
One of the things that I'm going to do, you guys, is I'm going to get my list going of what I want to do for it, but I also really want to do another conference, like live conference thing. But this time I want it to be on gardening and different aspects of gardening and just, like helping you guys to like learn more on the gardening aspect of things. But I got to get all that figured out and, like the when and everything. And I'll definitely let you guys know for sure. But just have a lot going on. I'm gonna eat, and then I gotta go feed a little baby, little kitty that looks like a mouse. It's adorable. She's doing great, by the way. She's about 6 weeks old now. Definitely within the next couple days, she'll be 6 weeks old. Yeah. She's just doing really good so far, and pray that she keeps doing really good. And again, I will let you guys know on the homesteading conference. Like I said, it's going to be on the gardening aspect of everything. I just want to kind of, reach out so you guys have more knowledge on the gardening and, to where you guys can start your seeds, you can start your gardens, that kind of thing. Even this late in the game. So I'm going to go ahead and get off from here because we are over 2 hours. And the next one, I'm going to throw another one out tomorrow. I don't know what time it's going to be. I'll try to get a video out to let you guys know. Like, I'll let you guys know when it's going to be. But yeah, and we'll get on top of everything, and I will see you guys in the next video. I've got another video to upload from outside that I did yesterday, and I'll probably be doing more. I know I'll be doing more on those. I still have a ton of crap to do. I still have eggshells to do. I still have citrus water to do. The banana water. I got to empty out my jars. I got to clean my jars, and yada, yada, yada. It's a never ending thing. So anyway, probably take you guys along on some of the journey for that. Do have to get the garden filled out there. I'm probably going to be working on some of that today. Not going to kill myself in the heat, but you know. Anyway, I will see you guys in the next video. Please keep your eye on your subscriptions. Just YouTube sucks when it comes to that. Like and share the videos, get them out there. Just share. Share with everyone. Talk to people about this stuff. Let's get an online homesteading community going. I'm going to be paying up my Webador and getting my website out there, so I can also promote that on the channel. I'm hopefully going to be able to work on merchandise for the store. If there's anything you guys would like, let me know, and I'll do everything to get it done and get it to you guys. So, do that research. It's so important. Pinterest, write it down, type it out, whatever. But do it. Do it. We're so far past time that it's something that should have been done years ago. So get that research done. Make sure you have hard copies of things. Get your homesteading books. Just look up homesteading books on Amazon. There's thousands upon thousands of them. Preps. Just start prepping water, especially 3 days, guys. You have to have water. And I'm not saying in 3 days, I'm saying 3 days. This is as long as you can go without water. You have to have water, period. Look it up, the No Grid Survival Projects. You can actually get water out of the air. So I'm going to try to see if I can do a video on that at some point. But yeah, get water and then work on food, because you can go 30 days without eating if you had to in a situation. I will also start working on medicinal plants and, you know, that kind of thing. I'm going to do my very best to get videos out on these things. I have stuff I have to gather. I've only gotten one thing, and that's it. And that's the stinging nettle, but I'm pretty happy about it because I got a whole jar full of the dried stinging nettle. So I didn't lose that much. The chicory's coming out. The wild lettuce, I've got to get into my books and figure out exactly how I can do the wild lettuce without having to boil it down into a syrup, because I can't get it to that consistency. For some reason, I just can't. When I do that, I will do a video and we'll cover that, so you guys will have that knowledge as well. The medicinal plants are very, very important, because at some point you're not going to be able to get medicines. You're going to have to just figure it out. That's why the books are important. You know, the books will help you figure out what's around you, what you can use, what you can't. Get seeds. 5 years worth at least. Get yourself your seeds. Get an 18-gallon tote and fill it with seeds. Even if you have to get smaller ones to put inside it, or gallon Ziploc bags, whatever. Seeds. Get them. So important. All right. I'm going to get off from here, and I will see you guys in the next video. And get your homesteads and your gardens going. Get your books. Do your research. Get this stuff going. Talk to me, guys. Let me know if you would like anything, and or if you'd like to see us do a certain type of video, let me know. I will get back to you guys, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye, guys.